Hello everybody, this is Beads and Babble back with a tutorial. I must apologize for my absence. I had an unexpected surgery and the recovery time and stuff, so I had to take a break from making tutorials for a little bit, but I'm trying to get back on track. Today I'm going to bring you a relatively simple tutorial, but I thought it would be nice and quick. Well, I don't know about quick. You know how I am with these tutorials, but pretty detailed, and I do it in real time. So this is going to be a chakra bracelet. And as you can see, we're representing the 7 properties of the chakra, and I have a lotus bead here. And then a snap clasp, which I like because they're fairly sturdy. They lay flat. They don't snag on things. You can also do a lobster clasp or a magnetic clasp. Whatever clasp you have on hand will work just fine. Just remember to adjust accordingly for the length of your bracelet that you're making. This one is approximately 7.5 inches. I'll be gifting it to my daughter-in-law. But I really like the energies that gemstones provide, also their meanings. I like wearing jewelry that has meaning and a purpose. Also that it looks nice too, but it's also nice to have all of those in one. So I'm going to set this to the side. I'm going to go over the materials that we're going to be using today. You're going to need a beading wire. This is a nylon coated beading wire. It is AccuFlex, which is the same as Softflex. Any of those will work. This is a 49 strand, which means there's 49 individual strands in this coated nylon. And it is a diameter of 0.014. This will hold up to 14 pounds, these aren't nowhere near that. But for the 4mm gemstones I'm using today, this is a very good choice. It also comes in numerous colors that you can match to coordinate with whatever your materials, like your the tone finish of your findings, you can match up, or whatever you feel is best for coordinating with your project. I have a little bead bug. It's just to hold the beads on the wire as I'm stringing them on. You will also need some 4mm metal beads. I'm just using these to kind of separate the sections of the chakra. I thought it was kind of nice. You don't need them. It's optional. You can add another bead of each color of the chakra in place of those if you don't want to use them. I just like the way it broke up. You're also going to need some 5mm jump rings, 4 or 5mm jump rings. These are, I believe, are 22 gauge, 22 or 24 gauge, whatever fits through the corresponding hole of your clasp. You'll also need some clamshell closures for the end, 2 of those, couple of crimp tubes, and I prefer the thick-walled crimp tubes for this project because we're going to be smashing them closed and not doing the typical closing of the crimp and then bending. I will show you that as we move into that portion of it. These are just the extras of the containers I hold my findings in. You're going to need a pair of nippers or scissors. We'll cut these, the beading wire. You're going to need about 12 inches to make the bracelet. Give yourself plenty of material to work with. Also, you'll need 2 pairs of pliers, whether there's flat nose, bent nose, chain nose. You just need 2 pair. This is for opening and closing the jump rings, and also for closing the clamshells and closing or smashing such a technical term, smashing the crimp tubes as well onto the wire. I also have a chakra chart here, a stone chart that I got off of Pinterest from 7chakrastore.com. I am not sponsored by them, but since I'm using their chart, I wanted to give them a shout out. This is a very simple but nice chart representing the colors and the particular gemstones that correlate with each of the chakra segments. So you have, of course, the crown, the third eye, the throat, the heart, the solar plexus, the sacrum, and the root. Sacral. And it also tells you what gemstones correlate with those. And as you can see, there is also a coordinating color. So it's very helpful if you want to look this up and download it yourself to save it. These make great gifts for someone else, for yourself, or to resell. They have a lot of meaning and healing properties. So today I went through my stash and I picked out what gemstones I wanted to use. And off of this chart, some amethyst. I picked some solulite, aquamarine, green agate, some citrine, some carnelian, and some mahogany jasper. So these will be the ones I will be working with today. If you want to get the chart, you can find ones that you have on hand or that you would prefer to use, but that's what I'll be using today. So we'll be taking this. I'm putting my bead bug on here. So I have something to hold my beads on and my components on. So I'm going to first start with threading on one of the clamshells ends, and then I'm going to pick up a crimp tube. And I'm going to grab a pair of my pliers, which I'm going to use the flat nose, and I'm going to trap the crimp tube between the plier, and I'm going to give it a good squeeze. Then I'm going to give it a look. I'm just going to make sure that it's really sorry, frame here. I got a new phone too because my other one died, and this one's being, I'm learning curve here. And then I give it a good tug to make sure that it's not going to come off. I'm going to trim the excess of wire off, so we don't need that. I'm going to bring the clamshell back down, and I'm going to very carefully use my bent nose. I do like to kind of close with my fingers first because they don't mar the metal, and I can kind of control it a little bit better because sometimes these will get off and you got to straighten them up. It's a little bit easier to do that when you're open still rather than closed. Okay. And I'm going to do it sideways like this, get it to close the way I want it to. And I'll do the same. And what I'm doing is just closing that smashed crimp bead in between and lining it up. And as you can see, it's popping out right now, but it won't after I get it. I don't fully close it until I have this aligned the way I want it. And then I'll close it so that crimp will not stick out. It's a little fiddly, but it's get it. Just give it a good squeeze, and then see the crimp bead will not come out of it now. Kind of do any adjustments I need to do before I move on to the next step. All right. Because I didn't need that so much, but mostly for holding on the clamshell, because I'm telling you what, my fingers have been totally fiddly lately. All right, so we'll be putting on the clasp last with the jump rings, and I'm just going to stretch this out to show you the sequence, because there is a sequence. Then crown, you start with the crown, then the third eye, and you move on down. And as you can see, I use 5 of the beads for each segment, except for the middle, which would be the heart chakra. Since I was putting this lotus bead in the middle, I subtracted 1 of the beads. You can make adjustments too for the length. You might have to if you have an extra small wrist, you might have to eliminate 2 of each color. If you have this is not a necessary tool, but if you have a bracelet design board, this is really nice, so you can lay out for your particular size of your wrist. So if you don't have this, you can just do it with a tape measure. And I have an actual, on this bead mat, it has a section down here in inches and centimeters, so I'll use this a lot for my measurements, but it's always nice to have one of these flexible tape measures on hand, or a ruler. It's honestly whatever you use to measure. So now I'm just going to start by stringing on the amethyst one at a time here. Should go fairly fast. And you can also fast forward through the stringing part if you're impatient. You just want to get down to the brass tacks of it all. All right, just opening up with each section, I'm just putting in a gold spacer bead here. And then I'm going to start with the next section, which is the third eye. Sorry if this video is a little rough. I'm just still trying to get back into my groove, and also this new phone, I'm not really happy with the way it's recording, so I might have to. I'm also looking for when you're doing, you're working with gemstones, you got to look for like imperfections or cracks and stuff like that, or even on the metal beads, I look for anything too while you're doing it. I'll roll them around in my fingers. It's nice to, if you don't want to string something and look down and have a cracked or chipped gemstone that is just hideous on your jewelry that you strung, and you have to redo it. So it's always kind of a good idea to look at that as you're going and as you're stringing your projects, if you're stringing. All right, and here's where we're going to put the 2 green agates on. And then I'm going to thread on this really pretty lotus bead. And then the next 2. And another spacer. And then we're going to move on to the citrine, which is my oldest granddaughter's birthstone. I hope this year is treating everybody well. I can't believe we're already into April, but I am looking forward to spring. And we've kind of had weird weather here. It's been beautiful one day and then stormy the next day, and it hasn't decided what it wants to do. But I'm really looking forward to the nicer weather, because I love to be out in the yard, and I want to redo some flower beds and stuff like that. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. and then the last segment, the root segment. I'm going to be attending my daughter-in-law and son's baby shower. So we're expecting another grandchild, our first grandson, in June. I'm super excited. All right, basically the same bracelet, as you can see. Now I'm going to thread on the second clamshell closure, and then a crimp tube. Now this one's a little more tricky because you have to compensate for the drape, which is, you don't want to push this all the way down and crimp it so tight that, see how it, when you do that, how the beads get wonky, and then it stays that way. It also increases the chance of breakage. So you want to have some room and you want some flexibility when you're closing your jewelry. I'm going to use these bent nose pliers to get in here, and I'm going to open this clamshell wider so I can get in there with them. And I'm not going to push everything down tight. I'm going to get in here and I'm going to grab the tube, and I'm going to let this bracelet naturally form a circle, and then I'm going to smash that down. I'm going to check it before I get too crazy with the smashing of the crimp tube. And then I'm going to give it a good squeeze, and then I'm also going to give it a good tug with the pliers to make sure that it's really secure. All right, I'm going to come in here with the nippers now and cut off this excess. So as you can see, you have, I'm going to measure it down here at the end off camera, about 5, so you could cut down your waist a bit. And like I said, this is about, once I get the clasp on, it's about 7.5 inches. So now I'm going to use my fingers again to close around this crimp tube and kind of work myself around. And then I'm going to adjust accordingly to get it to close over that crimp tube the way it's supposed to. You can use whatever pliers makes it easiest for you to do this. Ooh, the wind is really blowing, I can hear it. Need to bring one of my wind chimes out to the back here where I'm at. My granddaughters got me a couple of them for my birthday, and I really love the sound of them. Now I'm just giving it a good close so that crimp bead is locked in there really well. It's off a little bit. I'm trying to close it to where I want it. Sometimes these clamshells can be a little finicky with how they want to close. But you just hang in there and get it to where you want it, and it will be just fine. All right. So now the fun part, putting on the finishing touches here. So we're going to open up the jump rings, put on one side, and then the next side. Remember, when you're opening jump rings, your side-to-side motion, never pulling apart. That weakens the jump ring and distorts its shape. And what I'll do is I'll walk it a little bit close until I feel it grind against the other edge, and that gives you a good seam. Okay. I'll pick up the second jump ring and open it. Put on this first end. These pliers are smooth, so they don't want to hold on to anything. That's exactly the way you want them. You don't want to mar on your metal, so you want the jaws to be smooth, but sometimes it makes it hard to hold on to these little components, so I'm just going to use my fingers. On the other end, my snap clasp. I'm going to close this jump ring. Lock it closed until I hear that grinding or clicking. And second bracelet complete. And this is that clasp here, and it's super nice. Just slide it right on there and it pops into place just like that. Close this one up. I'll probably end up giving one to each of my daughter-in-laws here. Let's see if I can zoom this in a little bit. Bear with me, I'm on this new phone here. But there you have it, a simple, easy chakra bracelet that you can make as to give as gift, make for yourself, do to resell. They're great. They're very popular, very colorful. They have meaning. And as I said, just look up a chakra stones chart so you can make sure that you have the proper segments and colors and gemstones. And you can also make, not just bracelets. I did a bracelet because it would be relatively quick. You can do necklaces, you can do earrings, all different things, but it's really not a meaningful piece of jewelry. So until the next time, guys, I hope that everybody's doing well, and I will be seeing you.